All right, so just a quick video here. This is my wheel from my electric bike. It is a CSC brand from China. I picked this up online with the controller and the throttle and the brakes, the whole kit. Oh, what was it? I think it came out to just under $400 Canadian. And then I bought some lead acid batteries, and it's a 36 volt, 500 watt wheel. Used it all summer. A lot of fun, works great, you know, just right. It's not super fast, but it gets you going and easily gets me around on the trails. And it comes with both pedal assist and throttle, so it's nice. You can give it some throttle on the hills as you're pedaling, and gives you a little bit more oomph than just pedaling alone. Anyway, what happened with this guy was the last week or so, it started to wobble a bit. I noticed that the wheel was, I could hear it hitting the brake pads. And I thought, well, you know, at first I thought, well, it's the wheel's gone out of true, and I was going to just true up the spokes. But I started looking at it, and I was thinking, no, you know what, this is a little bit more than that. So I put the bike upside down on my table and just gave it a quick pedal. And I could clearly see that the wheel was wobbling from side to side. Took the wheel out and held onto the axle, and I could easily wobble the axle. So what had happened was, on this is the side the motor all slips into. On this side, the bearing that goes in here, that fits onto the this side of the motor, had failed, and failed rather nicely. So here's what's left of the bearing. You know, there's the center, there's the outer. The race just fell apart. The balls all, like when I took this out, it just fell apart. And you know, fairly easy to get this type of wheel apart. I just had to undo the nuts here on the sprocket end, and you just had to get a screwdriver in underneath this little plastic seal where the machine screws hold it onto the wheel, and just gently pry it up. And I just use a really small screwdriver that I have, you know, with just a tiny little blade, and just worked it and popped out, and came out rather easily. And then the rest of the motor, all I did was I just took my rubber mallet, just gently smacked it, not too hard, on this side, and it just kind of pushed it out, and it came out, and I was able to grab a hold of it. And then when it came out, the little balls went everywhere. I picked them all up now. They're in my magnetic tray here, but it was pretty bad. So one thing I wanted to just say about this, I cleaned it all up. I put some more lithium grease in there. I put some more lithium grease here on these planetary gears and spun them. Everything's moving smoothly. The magnets aren't loose on the motor. They're all still in there nice and tight. So I think this will go together well, and I think it'll be fine. I think it was just the bearing that had failed. So I'm going to get a new bearing for it. So on this side, the bearing here on the gear set side is a what is it? A 6902 RS, so rubber seal, 6902. And I thought it would be the same, but it's not. On this side, it's a 6001 RS, 6001 RS. So tomorrow, heading down to Ackland's and see if I can pick one up. And if I can't, then I'll order one online. I already looked at them on eBay. They're about $1.37 each, shipped from China, from Hong Kong. So you know, it's hard to beat that. You know, it's not even $1.50 Canadian for a bearing. So I just have to wait a week or two, or a couple of weeks for it to get here. And I put it all back together, and we'll see how it works. So going back to like a root cause for this, I think what happened was that I had the wheel on crooked. So instead of coming across straight, I think I had it off just a little bit, and it was putting a load on this side here, on this bearing, because this is the bearing that failed. So when you look at the way that my bike is made, you can see that the rear derailleur has, it sticks into this slot a little bit. On this side, there was nothing, so it allowed the axle to come back too far. So I've remedied that. I came up with just a short bolt with a nut, and I took a washer and just flattened off the washer so the axle of the wheel would fit in there nicely. Then I measured this space, and it's the same on both sides. And I also put in a rod across just to kind of eyeball it. And I think I got it now where it's going to sit across straight, and it shouldn't put that load on this bearing. So hopefully that solves the problem. All right. So when I put the wheel all back together and give it a try, I'll make another video, and we'll see how it works.